Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. And today we're going to be talking about Put a Ring on It, Season 3, Episode 10, One Last Date. And today we're going to be starting off with Charlena and Otis. And we left off last episode with Charlena deciding to go on an additional closure date for the guy. Let's call him Odell the second or something, because he looks just like Odell Beckham online. Because I also was confused as to why this man deserved a closure date. They literally just went on 2 dates. I thought closure dates were for you having multiple dates with an individual, at least more than just 2. And the second one, she wouldn't have even went on a date with him if they hadn't said to her that she needed to choose from the bunch that she already went on dates with. So that not only confused us, me as an audience, it confused Otis as well. So because Otis just assumed, okay, she's just being petty, he decides, okay, I'm gonna go on a closure date with Sheree, knowing full well that this man has no interest in Sheree, but is simply doing this to get back at Charlena. On Charlena's Instagram post, she mentions that it wasn't something that she chose to do when she decided to go on a closure date with the guy. It was production that told her she will be going on a closure date. It had nothing to do with her choosing that. But it seems and appears that Otis didn't know that and assumed that Charlena was just being petty. So now he's explaining to us why he thinks it's disrespectful for Charlena to go on a closure date with the guy. He thinks that the guy is disrespectful because apparently he was on the date and he knows what the guy said to Charlena. Clearly Charlena let him know that. The guy mentioned about threesomes. The guy mentioned about taking her away from him. He sees it as disrespect. So he's baffled as to why Charlena will want to continue to be disrespected. Not to say, did Charlena say she felt disrespected? Or is that you projecting that she must feel disrespected? I'm confused. I'm really I'm extremely annoyed because I feel as if Otis was never ever really interested in Sheree. And for him to waste this woman's time just because he wants to be petty is just disgusting to watch. On the date, that man did not seem in the least interested in Sheree. And I feel like Sheree picked up on that. But again, women, I don't know why we hang on to ridiculous amounts of hope that, oh, maybe it's working. Maybe he's just not opened up yet. Maybe he's ready to open up now. But the truth of the situation is simply that there was really no reason for him to go on another date with Sheree other than, oh, let me get a one up on my woman. And that's just disgusting. Like, if for me, I already knew that going out on dates with Otis meant that there was no real interest there, I would not go on another date with him. So he finally tells her, okay, he's planning to hopefully take it to the next step with his woman, and Sheree has the audacity to feel disappointed. Like, didn't you already get that vibe? Because Otis never showed interest in you. So I'm confused. Anyways, Charlena also decided with Chris, I finally know his name, that she wanted to work on her ridiculously petty relationship with Otis. The more I watch this show, the more I'm baffled as to what the interest is in Otis. I don't see his appeal. He's almost revolting. Watching his interactions with other women, watching his interactions with Charlena, it's disgusting. Now on Charlena's Instagram, she hinted that the ending episode would be a surprise. Now, I don't know if this is the last episode or if there's an additional episode, but it's either that she decides not to marry him or she decides to marry him. Now, if she does decide to marry him, that wouldn't be a surprise, because despite everything, you can tell that she wants him still. Now, if she decides not to marry him, that would be the surprise. And that is something nobody would expect. So let's look further and see what she decides to do. In the upcoming previews, we see that Otis appears to be confident that Shalina will accept his proposal, to the point where he goes shopping for rings. But then, according to Mrs. Dr. Nicole, she's saying that clearly they're not on the right page, because he thinks they're ready for marriage and she doesn't. And you hear Shalina talking about there's still communication issues there. So they're truly leaving us in a state where we cannot figure out, is she going to marry him? Is she not going to marry him? We still have no idea. But she did say it's going to be a surprise. But to me, it's literally either yes or no. And I feel like she's going to... The inclination is that she will say yes. Despite everything she's saying now, she will say yes. If she says no, then I'll be surprised. Let's move over to another couple. Let's go to... Oh, and before I even talk about all of that, they went to try dresses and Shalina is crying in her wedding dress, and she's saying that Otis needs to get himself together. And it's like, I don't know why people feel as if marriage is something that you have to make sure you prepare for, in regards to, you have to make sure you fix your personality, make sure you fix this, a lot of people marry, and just realistically, it's just not possible to just change before a wedding date. That doesn't make sense. Like, changing someone who has always been who they are requires a lot longer to do. And yeah, let's say you're gonna get married in December of 2020 and you need to get your shit together. What does that mean? Does it mean to fix your personality? What does it mean? And I don't know why people feel as if that is something that is an effective way to make somebody change. If that person is the way that person is, don't expect them to just miraculously change within a year or within a couple months. It just doesn't make sense. So that's why the premise of this show is like so silly to me, where at the end they have to decide whether they want to marry the person or not, because that show happens in such a short space of time. Like, how much progress could possibly happen in that short space of time? That's crazy. So in reality, I feel like none of them should accept any proposal. But of course, I believe that people like Shay and Alonso probably will end up getting engaged on the show. Shalina and Otis, I'm not sure. And then for sure, Kenneth and Shorty are not gonna get engaged. So let's just go right into them, Kenneth and Shorty, and see what they did on this particular show. So Kenneth and Shorty go on this bonding date, and he rests his head on her lap via the expert suggestion, and they start talking, and he mentions he just wants Shorty to consider that what he's saying is genuine. So essentially, he wants her to believe his words. But words alone are very fragile, meaning they mean nothing. It's easy for them to disappear into nothing. Actions need to stand behind words so that words are concrete. If there are no actions behind words become nothing, just things you see. So I think that's where the disconnect is. Shorty hears his words, but because his actions don't align with those words, it's difficult to believe him. Because if you say, I'm gonna start working on my credit score, and you do nothing for 1 year, how do you expect her to believe you? How do you expect her to believe you? So they're talking and talking, and again, when it comes to finances, I think that's where the issue is, because I feel like Shorty needs to know that she can rely on Kenneth financially if anything happens with her. If anything happens with her job, if anything happens, period. And she feels like she can't do that because he's not done anything. And so every time the topic gets on finances, he gets defensive, and she's blunt, and she's not gonna sugarcoat things to feed or to caress or to soothe his ego, and that's what pisses him off, and that's where the disconnect lies with them. And another thing that she doesn't like is that she thinks he lies about their relationship. So she gave an example of, if people ask them, are they okay? He says, yes, they are, when they both know that they aren't. Now, what I will say about that is, everybody doesn't really need to know the real ins and outs of your relationship, honestly. So for me, if I have a partner and somebody's asking us, oh, how you guys are doing, don't expect me to give you the truth. Why? Because I feel like it doesn't pertain to that individual. Why do I need to be honest with this person? You know what I mean? And I'm somebody that would prefer to keep our situation within our relationship, as opposed to like telling everybody that asks, oh, we're not good, oh, he cheated, oh, he's not providing for me financially, oh, he just hit me last night. Well, for domestic things, maybe that's a different story, but for finances and other things like that, I feel like it's irrelevant to let other people in on what's going on in your relationship. And my thing about it is, if you think Kenneth is lying about the status of the relationship, why not be the one to then go back to that same person or people and tell them, he lied, we're in a bad space? Why not just do that? One thing I must say is that she keeps coming to the conclusion that she and Kenneth are not good together. And I agree with Kenneth in that, if that is really the case, why do you keep stringing him along? Why do you keep making him do something that you know he's not ready to do? Why play with him in that way? Now, aside from the abuse thing and everything like that, besides all of the stalking thing and everything, why can't you just find an exit strategy, stick to it, and leave? Maybe she's afraid he's gonna blackmail her. Maybe she's afraid he's gonna expose something she did. Maybe she's just simply afraid of him. Who knows? But on the show, it doesn't appear that she's really that afraid of him. But according to what she said on post, she's tried to leave him and it's been unsuccessful. So let's see. So they're back at the house, and apparently they had like a deep conversation the night before, and now everything is being brought to light. Essentially, they're incompatible. We're hearing from Kenneth for the first time that he doesn't want to be married to her anymore. Marriage is the last thing on his mind. So in that regard, they do agree, because she always says marriage is the last thing on her mind. So on the one hand, Shorty wants Kenneth to be very honest, and then when he is being honest, she kind of cannot really stand to really take it. So it's like something between what you want versus getting what you want. Sometimes you don't feel how you thought you would feel. So it's the ultimate fallout, and not to my surprise, but Shorty actually appreciates his honesty. You could see she was smirking the entire time. She's like, finally, I got him to say the things that I already knew he felt. And he said it, and then she's like, okay, time for us to break up. But I feel like what it is that he felt like it was just like one of those regular breakups that they have, and then they get back together. And then she's like, I'm not wasting another 3 years of my life waiting for you to get your stuff together. And if marriage is not on the table, then what's the point? And so now he's realizing that they really are done, and there's just this explosion that's happening right now. He's doing flip-flops, backflips, acting crazy, doing all type of stuff. I'm not gonna say that is the real Kenneth, but then maybe it's a part of him that we were not privy to on the show. So Shorty basically is telling him get his stuff and leave, And she says the same way he came in, which is with trash bags, he's leaving with trash bags too. And my thing is, you knew that man didn't have that money financially. You knew that man wasn't who you wanted. But still you dated him for years. And you tolerated his BS. Okay, so don't act like you don't have a part to play in the state of you guys' relationship right now. I feel like the same way Kenneth was delusional about Shorty was equally as delusional as Kenneth. Maybe it's because it's based on the lies he told in the beginning, but either way, she drank it up for 3 years. So, but I'm happy to see them go their separate ways. Hopefully, she doesn't go back to him because that's a lost cause. And they're definitely not getting married, clearly. Okay, so in regards to Shay and Alfonso, they finally go out on a date with each other. And I think the biggest thing for Shay, and we've known that throughout the entire season, is that Alfonso has failed in setting boundaries between his family and Shay. And I think what it looks like is him being very clear in regards to communication and letting his mom and his baby's mother know, okay, this is Shay. Shay is my woman. I intend to marry her. I hope that you guys can respect her because she's important to me. Yes, baby mom, we had a relationship prior. It didn't work out. But I am hoping that we could get on a path where we could co-parent with our lovely child, co-parent our child better. Mom, I am letting you know that I am not interested in getting back with the baby mama. I've decided that Shay is the woman for me, and I'd hope that you invite her into your presence. I hope that you treat her very well because she's somebody that I take seriously. That is essentially what she wants Alfonso to do. And she's tolerated for 3 years the fact that she's been a secret. Yes, she's been mad. Yes, she's broke up with him. But she came back. And when she came back, there was no clear definition of what it is she wanted. Now, because she didn't say in the beginning what her boundaries were and what she'd like, Alfonso just continued to act how he was acting before she decided to leave. And so nothing changed. And now on this date, she doesn't want to marry him unless he calls the baby mama and lets her know that she is his woman. That is essentially what she wants him to do. That is essentially what she's been complaining about and being annoying about this entire season. It's that Alfonso has not told the baby mama that she's the woman in his life. And I think he's gonna finally do it on this episode. Now, I'm curious to know what he tells the baby mama and also how she reacts to what he says. So Alfonso calls the baby mom and lets her know that he's working on himself and his relationship, and he wants to now set boundaries with her and let her know that, yes, I value you, I appreciate you, but we need to do things a little bit differently. Now we're seeing that the baby's mother feels a certain type of way with how Alfonso handled things. She felt like she was thrown by the wayside, in a sense discarded, and she feels as if, okay, now you're doing things to heal, but you've left me broken. And that is the case for most situations that end poorly. It's because there was a failure to communicate and somebody decided to just discard someone else, and then they have to deal with picking up the pieces of their broken heart. So the baby mama doesn't buy his apology and she doesn't think he's being genuine. I feel like Alfonso should stop trying to control how another party reacts to disrespect and to feeling discarded. Let her say what she needs to say. Like, you just have to deal with it as something you did and suffer the consequences of your actions. I feel like in this entire conversation, Alfonso is just trying to shush the baby mom so that she doesn't really call him out. So basically, he's trying to make it very vague, but she wants to like put it all out there, and he's trying to prevent her from doing that. But actions definitely speak louder than words. Like, you can say you want to move on, but your actions in the past have proven that you're very much a coward, and instead of handling things head on, you prefer to cower and do cowardly things, like introduce your child to a woman that you've just started dating, or a woman that you've been with. Let's say you've been with her for 1 year, but the point is, it's just courtesy to introduce the baby mom to your prospective woman or new woman before you introduce your child to that woman. That's crazy. But to me, it simply speaks to the fact that at that moment, he hadn't set any boundaries with the baby mama at the time, and the baby mama was probably still thinking that she could be with Alfonso again, or that potentially they were working to get back together. So if he had introduced the new woman to his baby mama at that time, it would have been complete and utter chaos, and that is why he avoided doing that. So in the previews, we see that Alfonso is gonna be speaking to Shay's dad, and Shay's dad is like literally not fooling around. I'm pretty sure he's aware of the situation, and he wants to know how will Alfonso incorporate his daughter into his dynamic. We'll see how that goes. We also see Shay speaking to Dr. Nicole, and she wants Dr. Nicole to know that, you know, she's still having some doubts about whether Alfonso will be what she wants him to do and be. So it looks like they're gonna be making the final decision next week. I cannot wait to see what they decide to do. Being locked into their social medias, or mostly Charlena's, to see like what she's posted and stuff like that. People are saying that they think that the relationship Alfonso has with the baby mama is deeper than what she probably knows. Like, he was probably still sleeping with the baby mama while he was with Shay, you know, and the way he was trying to shush her, it seems like she knows a lot more that's been going on than Shay knows. And so if she finds out, it's gonna be a problem. So let me know what you guys think about this episode. We saw Otis continuing to be petty. We saw Kenneth show us a side of him we have never been privy to before, but it's a side that also I don't think Shorty has seen that side of him either. But we saw it, and he was being very honest, and he was looking crazy, acting crazy. Maybe that's where the fear of going comes from for Shorty, who knows. Then we have Shay and Alfonso. Alfonso finally decides to have a conversation with the baby mom. We learned that a lot of things, like we learned that Alfonso is a very secretive type of individual, and he doesn't want too much of his business out there. But the baby mama is gonna say what she needs to say because she has nothing to hide. And I feel like, depending on what she says, that could either make or break Shay and Alfonso's relationship, and he knows that, so he's trying to shush her. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Who do you think are gonna get married? Who do you think are not? Tell me in the comment section. What did you think about Kenneth's bizarre behavior when he was in the house with Shorty? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think that Otis was being petty? That kind of really pissed me off, to be honest with you, because it's like he was playing with Sheree just because he wanted to get back at Charlena, and to me, you don't use people in that way. But by the way, Charlena really pisses me off because we only see Otis reacting, but we don't see what Charlena does to make him react how he reacts. Like, the things that she chooses to share with Kenneth, with Otis about her dates, makes him jealous, and she knows that he gets jealous, and so he decides, okay, well, let me get her back since I'm jealous, and he does things to get her back. But we don't see that she plants things in his head, and then when he gets jealous and acts petty, she has a problem with it. But she doesn't let anyone know that she's just as petty as he is, and that kind of really annoys me. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.